My husband left me for my mom, then came crawling back when he found out my grandma left the inheritance to me. Hi everyone, my name is Sarah. I'm 31. If someone had told me a year ago what I was going to go through, I would have laughed in their face and said, "That sounds like some trashy TV drama." And then I probably would have cried, because my life really did turn into a nightmare. I was married to David. We'd been together for almost 7 years, married for 4. Things were stable, not perfect, but warm enough for me to make plans. Kids, a house, vacation in Italy, the usual dream. He worked in IT and I was an English professor at a community college. We had movie nights, pizza evenings, spontaneous weekend trips, our little bubble. But then things started to change, slowly. At first, I didn't pay attention. He started working late more often. His phone was always dead. He began awkwardly avoiding my mom. Yes, my mom. Her name is Clara. She's 52 but looks more like 40. She's always been the kind of woman men gravitate to. Glamorous, confident, a messy past. She had me young, divorced, had her share of flings, and eventually just became herself. A woman who never misses a chance when she sees an opportunity. I loved her. Complicated love, but still, love. Never in my worst nightmare did I imagine she would end up with my husband. But that's exactly what happened. I found out by accident. A text popped up on his phone. He must have forgotten to delete it. It said, "I can't keep pretending with Sarah. I want to be with you, Clara." I froze. My ears started ringing. My heart was racing. My mom? My mom? I tried to convince myself it was a mistake, a coincidence, maybe just someone with the same name. But that same evening, I saw her name again. She sent him a voice message and signed it, "Sweetheart." I don't even remember the fight that followed. There was screaming, crying, a shattered mug, and a slammed door. He didn't deny it. He didn't even beg. He just said, "I've been in love with her for a while. I'm sorry, I'm leaving." He packed his things in 20 minutes. And just like that, I was alone in an empty apartment, feeling like my entire world had been smashed to pieces. A week later, they were officially together. I found out through a mutual friend. They were seen walking through the mall, holding hands, my mom smiling like a teenager, David looking completely smug. I didn't leave the house for almost a month. I felt humiliated, sick, hollow. How could they? My mom and my husband? A friend finally convinced me to see a therapist. It helped, a little. I started getting out of bed, going outside, working again, trying to put my life back together. And then, Grandma Agnes came into the picture. Agnes is my mom's mother. She was 84 and a force of nature. Strict hairstyle, neat clothes, serious values. She lived modestly, but we all knew. She had money. She invested, saved, bought property, but she never talked about it. And then, a stroke. A serious one. Weeks in the hospital, rehab. That's when Clara and David showed up, in full force. She moved in next to Grandma, played the loving daughter, helping, organizing doctors, bringing tea, all for the image, all for the inheritance. I visited too, quietly, without showing off. I just was there. And 2 months later, Grandma passed away. Clara instantly started talking about the will. She must have left it all to me. I took care of her, not like some people. I stayed silent. 3 weeks later, the lawyer called. We met. He opened the will, and guess what? Everything, every cent, every property, every account, all of it was left to me. Just me. Quoting the will, "My daughter Clara loves only herself. My granddaughter Sarah is my true home and pride. May her life be a little easier." I cried. My mom turned pale. She left without saying a word. 2 weeks later, guess who texted me? David. First, "Hey, hope you're okay. I'd really like to talk." Then, "You're such a strong woman, Sarah. I made a huge mistake." And then, finally, I didn't answer. I just hit block. Him, my mom, all of it. Because sometimes the sweetest revenge is living well, without them. A month had passed since I blocked David. You'd think the story ended there, but unfortunately, it was only just beginning. Through a friend, I found out that David and my mom had a fight. A big one. Apparently, he started accusing her, saying she ended up with nothing, and he bet everything on her for nothing. She in turn screamed that he was a pathetic traitor and that he only cared about the money. Ah, yes, the romance of the century turned out to be just a union of two selfish people. But that wasn't the end. My mom tried to pressure me. She called me from a different number, spoke softly, almost pitifully. Sarah, you understand how hard it is for me right now? It was just a moment of weakness. I never meant to hurt you. We're family. Maybe you could consider sharing. I stayed silent, and then she said, "You won't achieve anything anyway. Your life is built on your grandma's handouts. You're weak, Sarah." I just hung up. Since then, I've started a new life. I moved, changed jobs, bought an apartment in another city, the one that belonged to my grandmother. I renovated it myself, slowly, with my own hands. I went back to school, not for anyone else, but for me. I started photography, created a blog, made new friends. Sometimes it still hurts. Sometimes I catch myself wondering, what if? But I bring myself back to reality quickly. And in this reality, I am strong, I am grown, and I'm no longer the Sarah who can be betrayed and crushed. Sometimes they write to me, my mom or David from other accounts, trying to guilt me, win me back, manipulate me. But I don't play their games anymore. I've stepped out of the cycle.